Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Our webinar will begin in just a few minutes. While you're waiting, please feel free to review our program information at csudh.edu/CEIE/global-logistics. In the meantime, take a look at what some of our recent students have said about the program. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. My name is Keith Otterberg, and I'm the Marketing Director for the College of Extended and International Education at California State University, Dominguez Hills. I'll be your host for this presentation. Welcome. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website and social media platforms shortly after today's session. Please feel free to download the Global Logistics Certificate Information Kit for details about the program and additional resources we will cover in the webinar. The address is bit.ly/CSUDH-GLX-InfoKit. We have provided a link in the chat panel for those who are participating live via Zoom, and it will also be available in a follow-up email to attendees as well as on our website. Before we jump in, I'd like to review the Zoom controls. This session is being presented in webinar format, so you don't need to worry about your microphone and camera. However, we want you to participate, so help us to address your needs. Use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen if you are joining us from the Zoom desktop app or web browser, or in the top right of your screen if you're on a mobile device. Once you click the Q&A button, a dialog box will open allowing you to type your question. Please ask your questions in the Q&A panel rather than in the chat panel. In the chat panel, we will be providing helpful links and other information. Our marketing staff members, Stephanie Bukian and Anissa Barton-Thompson, as well as Program Director Elizabeth Legg, will be standing by to assist you. We'll be answering your questions at the end of the session, although often you may find that your question has been answered during the course of the presentation. With that said, let's take a quick look at today's agenda. We'll begin by meeting our Global Logistics Certificate instructor, who will discuss the current industry outlook and introduce you to the program via an overview of benefits, expectations, and course details. Then we'll go over the registration and login information and address your questions in our Q&A session. And now to lead off our session, I'll turn it over to Duane Murphy. Duane, take it away.
Thank you, Keith, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Duane Murphy. I'll be your Global Logistics Certificate Instructor. And I have over 30 years of global logistics experience in sales, international operations, and customs compliance. I have a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Cal State Long Beach. I have a Master's in Management at the University of Redlands. I am currently in sales operations for AP Moller Maersk, the ocean shipping company, and I am your local friendly logistics magician. I know all of your business processes are driven by global logistics. The world evolves as the economy changes. Several years ago, the founder of Intel told the US government, you're going to need to build space stations because we're going to need this type of manufacturing platform so we can create and manufacture the future in microchips, pharmaceuticals in zero gravity. You, your children, and grandchildren will all be impacted on the ever-changing global logistics and transportation environment. Back here on Earth, we have logistics challenges facing us today. The first headline is delayed Christmas gifts. We all went through the challenges this last peak season of our supply chain being overwhelmed with demand and creating shortages and delays. The second clipping, bosses are doing better than ever. Well, with the huge demand for global logistics and international shipping, rates are soaring and so are profits. The next clip, global supply chain crisis, could last another 2 years. And this will be part of our discussion. When will these supply chain bottlenecks end? And when can we see a light at the end of the tunnel? The fourth one, takeaways from a staggering year in container shipping in 2021. 2021 was a very, very challenging year in logistics. And all of the issues stated here with these news clippings will be part of our weekly discussion in this course. 2021 was a challenging year. This course will help you learn the basics and fundamentals of global logistics so you can be part of the solution of these challenges. Why should someone attend these courses and gain their certificate? Well, employment. The employment outlook and current labor shortage in the global logistics and domestic transportation industries, logistics companies are steadily hiring, even with the shutdowns from COVID-19. This course and this certificate program will give you a practical knowledge, real life education that you can use from day one with your current employers, or if you're looking for a new career in global logistics and transportation. So with that being said, let's take a look at a few key components of logistics and what they entail. And these are topics we will be discussing in great length. Globalization. We'll be discussing the global industrial cycle, how manufacturing of goods move to and from different countries. Outsourcing, the who, what, why, where, and how of importing from other countries. Our trade agreements, such as the North America Free Trade Agreement, collaborations between countries for efficiency, lower taxation, more benefits. The global distribution model, the distribution chain of manufacturer to consumer, how goods move through the sales process, manufacturing, marketing, and e-commerce. And with the advent of the internet shopping, how the global distribution model has changed significantly. Transportation. We're going to be discussing in depth the import and export transportation networks and processes. We also are going to be discussing the basics documentation required for these processes. We'll be discussing all modes of transportation, both local and global. We will be also discussing the legal aspects of the shipping and logistics industries, dealing with overseas customers and suppliers, claims liability, and similar topics. Pricing structures. Each mode of transportation has its own pricing structures. They vary greatly, and we will be discussing them in depth. And one of the most revolutionary portions of the transportation industry is what's happening with the domestic final mile networks, getting the packages to your door. There is a revolution in the small package industry going on right now with UPS, FedEx, and yes, Amazon is in the picture as well. Regulatory compliance. The transportation logistics business is regulated by government agencies. Customs brokerage. We're going to be discussing in depth the import and export customs clearance processes for not only the United States, but our major trading partners. We'll be reviewing and discussing the international documentation that is required by the United States and the governments of our trading partners. Global security. There are many security changes and new processes spurred by the terror attacks in 9/11. Taxation. Global taxation is influenced by inexpensive labor, recent changes that brought businesses back to the US, and other tax issues. Taxation has a direct impact on outsourcing and where our products are manufactured, stored, and shipped. Tariffs and duties has a huge impact on our global distribution chain and the availability of products, and also who your vendors will be and your transportation options. Government regulation. The domestic transportation industry is regulated by the Department of Transportation, primarily trucking. The FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, regulates commercial airlines and the air freight industry. We'll also be discussing the Federal Maritime Commission, which regulates ocean carriers operating in and out of the United States. The industry is highly regulated for safety, especially for trucking. And we're also going to be discussing the deregulation of the pricing and the services that can be provided that took place in the 1980s. Technology. If you are interested in technology, global logistics is a vibrant place to be. Technology plays a major part in modern logistics. Certainly package tracking, warehouse computerization and distribution. GPS is being used more and more. Drones are used in our domestic distribution facilities. E-commerce, online ordering, and warehouse management software. Equipment. When we think of high technology, we don't really think about the equipment, but we'll be discussing how the equipment has evolved in transportation, especially with the airlines. The materials used are different. Carbon fiber, high-end plastics, different materials that are having a major impact, not only in the airline industry, but in future trucking, and certainly the electrification of the trucking industry. Computer technology, software technology used by UPS, Maersk. Blockchain technology is used by all the major players. Artificial intelligence, using algorithms for machine learning, creating routes, and predictive analysis. Let's review the individual courses. The first course is Introduction to Logistics, where we talk about and discuss the overview, where logistics is and where it's heading. The second course is Importing and Exporting, where we go through in detail all of the importing and exporting processes. Global Logistics, we continue our discussion on the processes and networks of global logistics. Transportation Management, Physical Distribution. This is where we will discuss third-party logistics, domestic trucking, domestic air freight, and final mile deliveries. Financial Instruments of International Trade. This is where we will be discussing the financial aspect and the money transaction processes of international shipping. Without a international sales transaction, there is no global logistics. There is no need for international shipping. And the final course, Hazardous Materials. We will take an in-depth look on how to recognize, process, and handle and maintain and store hazardous materials safely. The required textbook, Transportation, A Global Supply Chain Perspective by Cole, Novak Gibson. It's the 8th edition. This book is available used on Amazon and other locations. The feature and benefits of this program. What will you gain from this program? Well, first and foremost, you're going to be able to present yourself as a knowledgeable candidate to a prospective employer or to your current employer. You're going to receive a good fundamental knowledge of the industry, of the processes and the networks, documentation, and liability. And you'll be able to speak the language. We will show you what language as it pertains to each mode of transportation in each process. So when you go to an interview or you're looking to enhance your career with your present employer, they will recognize that you are knowledgeable and you can speak the language. Now let's pass it back over to Keith.
Great. Thank you very much, Duane, for that great overview. And we'll be coming back to you in a moment for our Q&A segment. So everybody start to think about what questions you want to ask. First, let's look at the course registration and delivery details. The Global Logistics courses are taught on Saturdays in a live online format. The complete schedule will be in the information packet that you can download after the webinar. Courses can be completed in as little as 4 months, and they are offered twice a year during the spring and fall. Courses can be taken in any order, but we recommend you take them in numerical order to get the maximum benefit out of the program. And the courses are conducted using the Zoom web conferencing tool as well as the Blackboard learning management system. So to register, call our Extended Education Registration Office at 310-243-3741, option 1. They are open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time. If you have taken a course at CSUDH in the past 2 years, you can register online using your my.csudh.edu account. We highly recommend that you register at least 1 week in advance to ensure that there's space in the course and to allow enough time for the course information and online access information to be created and sent to you. Payment for these courses is due at the time of registration. You can pay for courses individually or for multiple courses at once. The program is available for funding through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, which provides funding for qualifying students who are currently unemployed or seeking career training. For more information, email wioa@csudh.edu. If you need other financial assistance, you can Google private student loan providers or connect with salliemay.com for student loan information. Again, we recommend you register at least 1 week in advance and so that you can check your Toro mail, which is the student email that you will be assigned, and your personal email frequently for special instructions and campus notifications. You also want to be sure to test your account access in Blackboard and get comfortable with the layout of the class, such as where to find announcements, Zoom meeting schedules, discussions, and so forth. Now let's get ready for our Q&A. Let's start off with a few warm-up questions. Duane, can you first kind of draw the distinction between supply chain management and logistics?
Sure. Logistics is primarily concerned with transportation and customs compliance and regulatory compliance as it pertains to transportation. Logistics also includes 3PL warehousing, e-commerce fulfillment, transload, that kind of thing. Supply chain is different because it pertains to the entire supply chain, which would include procurement and sourcing the raw materials and that kind of thing. So they both have an overlap, but our course is specific to transportation and warehousing and distribution.
Okay, great. We'll ask a few more questions, Duane, but I want to remind everyone, if you have specific questions about anything about this program, whether it's the material or how to register or so forth, please ask it in the Q&A panel. So here's a question we get asked a great deal. If you have no experience in global logistics, how do you get your first job?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good question. And training and education is the answer. This course will give you that training. So with this global logistics certificate, this will tell your employer that, yes, this person may not have experience, but they have training. They took the initiative to get the training. And because you have the training, you will be able to speak the language. So during the interview process, when your employer or prospective employer is talking the language of their portion of their logistics business, bill of ladings, liability, declared value, customs entries, whatever the case may be, you are going to be able to understand what he's asking, what he's talking about, and your responses will be knowledgeable and professional.
Great. And to your earlier points, the industry's hot right now. They're hiring,
Yes.
right?
Yes. The industry is hiring. Many employers want entry-level people. So it's a good time to get into the global logistics industry without experience.
Okay. So here's a big question that often we get asked. Is there homework and is there an assigned class project?
There is no homework. Everything we do is done during the class.
Great. Okay. Is there a way in the program or can you recommend ways to connect with people in the industry?
There's many ways to connect. There are Facebook groups. There are trade organizations like the Foreign Trade Association. There are freight forwarding groups in Los Angeles. I would start there. Networking among the people in this class that, excuse me, you're going to be working with. But I would, LinkedIn is a great place to network, not only for contacts, but for potential employers.
Great. And just to follow on with that, I want to point out that we have Dominguez Hills has Facebook and LinkedIn groups for this program. So that'll be a way to connect with people, especially in the program and those who've taken the program in the past. If someone's a longshoreman, how might this help their career?
Well, if it depends on what your daily job is as a longshoreman. I know people who work at the Port of Long Beach that are clerks. They're involved with documentation, or they're seeking another job within the port structure. If someone's going to be a longshoreman, but they're looking for other opportunities in the global logistics industry, I would recommend it. Or if you're a longshoreman and you just want to understand more about the processes that you're involved with every day, such as what the terminal operators are involved with, the issues of drayage, pulling containers in and out of the ports, and if you're thinking about your future, I would highly recommend the program.
Great. Someone's asking if they can take the program living out of state, and I'll answer that. The answer is yes. The program is conducted live from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays Pacific time. So if you can accommodate that live schedule, then you can take the course. One other question about classes, Duane. What happens if someone has a schedule conflict on one of the class session days?
Yes. If you have an issue and you have a conflict, family issue, or whatever the case may be, please let me know in advance, and we will discuss it, and I will give you an assignment that will cover the course topics that you will be missing. And again, if it's something last minute, just send me an email or contact me as soon as possible so we can work through it.
Okay, great. Because we all know life happens and things come up. So great that you can be flexible about that. Somebody else is asking, how many weeks does it take to complete each course? You'll need to look at the course schedule for that, because some of the courses are 1 week, some are 2 weeks, and some are 4 weeks. So you'll just need to look at the schedule for that. Another question along a different career track, Duane. Will this program help someone who's looking to start their own business in the field, or is this even a good time to start your own business in the field?
Well, it depends. It's a good time if you want to start a trucking company. I think I've had many students in my classes throughout the years that were starting their own businesses. I've had people starting import, export coffee businesses. I've had over the last year and a half, I've had several students that wanted to start their own trucking brokerage business. So we go over all the importing and exporting things that you're going to need to know to get to start an importing and exporting business. In terms of truck brokerage, we go over that in the transportation management warehouse distribution class. So I will give you the knowledge and the tools to get you started in your own business. And even more importantly, this certificate program will give you enough knowledge for you to make the best decision whether to start a business or not. And during the class, or if somebody wants to speak privately, I can give you some guidance on what I think it'll take to start a business, what I think you'll need, what I think the outlook is, strategy, that kind of thing. So in a word, yes, this course will provide knowledge to point you in that direction.
Great. I just want to add to that. This is, if you're going to start your own business, this is not the only knowledge you'll need, but this will give you knowledge in terms of logistics and so forth.
Correct. Yes.
Great. I think that's about it in terms of the questions. I want to just go over a couple of things. The total cost for all the courses is $1,190, and the approximate cost for the book is around $340. So that's the only two costs you'll have aside from your internet access at home. And then once you have completed all the courses in the certificate, you will be able to apply to receive a certificate, and that certificate will take the form of both an electronic certificate that you can, electronic badge, excuse me, that you can share on social media and put on your electronic resume and so forth, as well as a paper certificate that you can frame and hang on your wall. So that will be of great benefit to you in terms of moving up in your career or getting started in your career. So just to wrap it up, we've covered a great deal about the program. Oh, another question came in. Let me just get to this. Says, my company's transportation department reports to me, my knowledge is minimal. Would this course be a good course to allow me to effectively manage the area?
Absolutely, because after you complete this course, you're gonna know as much as your employees know about your company's transportation processes. And one of the things I encourage in this class is for students to bring their personal or their company's transportation issues that they're facing, and we can discuss them in class. So if you've been put in a position of management and you're managing transportation and logistics processes in your organization, and you don't have as much knowledge as the people working for you or with you, I can give you a lot of that knowledge. And Keith, if I may say one thing about the textbook, there are more than one sources to buy it online, used, and you can also, I believe, rent it. So please check out those other avenues as to help defray that cost.
So you're saying you can probably get it for a lot less than $340?
Yes.
Okay. Good to know. Okay, I think this about wraps it up. I want to bring it back to, if you need more information about the program, you can download our information kit or visit our website. And to register, when you're ready to register, please call 310-243-3741, option 1. Or if you've taken a course at Dominguez Hills in the last 2 years, use your My CSUDH account. If you have specific questions that come up after the webinar, you can email us at learn@csudh.edu or call 310-243-2075, or visit the website during business hours and you can chat with us. So this concludes our session, and we'd love to get your feedback. If you can go to bit.ly/CSUDH-webinar-feedback, you can give us feedback on today's session and show us how we can improve. Again, feel free to connect with us on our website, on our Facebook or LinkedIn group, and register early to get your spot in your classes. We'll stay in the session for just a few minutes to give everyone a chance to jot down notes, download information kit from the chat panel. And the recording for today's session will be available on our website and on social media shortly after today's session. When you're ready to leave, simply click the red leave button in the corner of your screen. And once again, thank you for joining us. Stay safe, and we'll see you in class.